Welcome to another episode of 5 Unscripted. My name is Brionne Olsen, and in today's episode, we have another extraordinary person that we're going to feature on 5 Unscripted. His name is Tebogo Poopedi. Did I say it right? Poopedi. Sorry, man, it's the ADD.
Yeah.
How are you doing, man?
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation. Hey, 5 Unscripted.
It's awesome to have you here, and there is a particular reason why we invited you, is because you have an extraordinary story to tell.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the person to tell the story. I want you to actually tell the story. But before we actually do that, I want you to tell me exactly where it all started.
I can't do no small talk, no small talk. I'm not with the small talk. Can't be with the small talk.
The first thing that we can obviously notice is that you are blind, but you haven't always been blind. What happened?
Well, Tobela, actually. Like I said, thank you for the invitation. Well, I am Tebogo Poopedi, better known as Mr. Tab. Best maybe known as South Africa's first blind rapper, musician, radio presenter, and advocate for persons with disabilities. You see? So that's who I am right now. But it did not begin here. I lost my sight at a tender age of 14 due to a soccer match. Yeah. What happened was I was just kicked between my eyes during a soccer match, like somewhere right here. Right. And taken off the field. I was iced, and that was it. Right. Because of the big bump that I had on my head, 3 months later, the effects only then occurred. I started having big and heavy migraines. Like and then started losing sight slightly.
So it was progressive.
It was, and started fainting in class, and you know we used to be those naughty guys who stay at the back. Yeah. But then times I could not see properly any longer. I had to be a good guy and start being in front. The chalkboard and so forth. But I did not take it that serious. But the challenge was, I was struggling a lot in terms of, it was always painful. A week would never go without me losing who I am, like fainting, migraines, and always absent from class. That's when I realized that this is very serious, and my family interacted. One day I used to walk from school. It was like 2.5k in Florida. Unified Public School, it's where I attended. I was in grade 8 by then. One day, I fainted. It was around 3, I remember, 2 to 3. I woke up an hour, 2 hours later. There was no assistant there. I was all alone. Quiet streets. I thought when I woke up, I was lost. The most
And you were by yourself?
I was by myself. I don't know if those cars that passed on, or maybe because the street was always quiet, nobody recognized that there's a young boy who has fell or something. I don't know. But I managed to wake up. And when I walked where I lived with my sister in Florida, she was like, "We are taking you to the hospital." Invited all other family members, and we were like taken to the nearest GP. GP was like, "No, this is beyond me. Let's take him to another hospital." I was taken to Florida Clinic. They're like, "No, not here. Leratong Hospital." Leratong Hospital. When we walked through the doors of Leratong Hospital, I remember my brother carrying me. And I was lifeless again. I was told, when I woke up the following morning, I was told that when they got to the hospital, Leratong Hospital, I was taken to Baragwanath for brain scans and for a scan and so forth. That's where they realized that all the seizures were caused by a tumor. So I had a brain tumor.
And this was 3 months after the accident?
After the accident, that's correct.
And what's also very special about your experience is that you didn't let that let you down. You actually document most of these events in your book.
Sure.
And the book is called How I Lost My Sight and Gained My Vision. That's the book right there. He has actually he's self-published author. And you lay out a lot of your experiences, especially those crucial first 3 months and thereafter in your book.
Yeah. So I think before I tell the entire story, I think I'll encourage everyone to purchase this book. You
Please
know,
support.
I'll ask for the generous support so that they can follow my story. This book is titled I Lost My Sight and Gained My Vision because it details my first 15 years of my life as a person who could see and the next 15 as a blind person. You know, so because shortly after my brain surgery in Baragwanath Hospital, I was declared that I would never be able to see again in a way, because I had two brain surgeries actually. It was one in 2004 and the other one in 2006, and so forth. So it was hectic.
And this was to remove the brain tumor.
Yeah. So I thought after my first brain tumor, we thought that it was over. After the first brain tumor, first brain surgery, I thought that I'll be able to go back to school and complete my education. It was not true.
And this was not only a challenge for you because now you had to adapt your life to a completely new environment, but it was also a challenge for your family.
Absolutely. My home, my parents were entrepreneurs in the sense that my dad was a shoemaker. May his soul rest in peace. And my mother was also doing the very same thing, was selling and so forth. But the whole cycle has to change. Now there's never been a person with a disability in my family, nor a person with visual impairment. Not even my community could understand how to assist or which doors to knock at. It's trauma to the family and basically the society, including the friends that I used to play with, my soccer friends. I was alone. Me being alone really caused a lot of trauma because I was lost. My parents didn't know how to assist or where to go and ask for help. It was painful. All I thought at that moment is to see myself not being part of planet Earth any longer. Because I could see the terrible anxiety within my family. There was no peace. It was always quiet.
Yeah.
My mom used to take me, she used to bath me. I'm 14, 15.
Yeah.
It was painful. Very painful. I don't want to go back to that moment, and I would never even wish what I went through to my worst enemy. It was terrible.
So how did this new formed lifestyle that you had to discover as you were going along, how did that affect you when it came to like your schooling, for instance?
Right. Fortunately, there was a gentleman who knew my parents, and like there's a school called the School for Blind People somewhere in Mayfair. It's called Blind SA. So I was referred to Blind SA, and then Tracy Morgan was like, no, this guy's too young to just learn Braille and do nothing. So I was also they referred me to JSB, Johannesburg Society for the Blind, where I met a lady called Vangi. And my previous teacher in Unified Public School, Mam Dumas, and my mother journeyed me to a school called Prince of School in Pretoria. It's a boarding school where they actually trained me everything to be who I am right now. But it also took me back that when I was there, I was in grade 8. I was in grade 8. But when I got there, the school was like, this guy, he's like 17 years old, but he can't read Braille. And Braille is the only mode that we use for persons with visual impairment, how to read and write and communicate with others. So for him, right now, he's at risk basically.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? They took me back to grade 2. Now I'm 17 years old.
So you had to start all over again, basically.
Yeah. I was in grade 2 at the age of 17. But because I knew what I wanted,
Yeah.
I strived. I did not see myself, I didn't see myself as a failure at that moment.
Yeah.
But I just saw a beginning. Not a new beginning, but pick up from where I was. So I strived to empower myself as much as I could. With the grade 2s, you know, I think they were like 7 years old,
Yeah.
8-year-olds. They were running around and having fun with me. You know, so yeah. But I strived to empower myself as to how to read and write in Braille and just upskill myself.
Yeah.
And a year later, when I was 18, I'm like, no guys, you can't go to grade 3 now because you did very well. So we are taking you from grade 2, instead of going to grade 3, you're now going straight to grade 9. Wow. Okay.
That's a big leap.
It was a big leap. So I started in grade 9. That's where it all began as well.
Yeah.
But for me to be that empowered, it all began when I was alone back at home. It's a secret that I'm going to share with you and all the viewers. This skill can empower each and every single person, not only a person with a disability, regarding whatever somebody is facing at that specific moment. The secret is acceptance. Should I not accepted myself the way I was, and where I was at that moment, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So whoever goes through whatever challenges of life, accept. Then the moment you accept, you'll see other opportunities opening up so that you can clear your mind and succeed in that specific phase. Let it be finances, let it be emotional breakdown, let it be the trauma that you might be facing.
Yeah.
The moment you accept the challenge, you'll never go wrong.
Amazing, man. So, I mean, like, you've taken that and you ran with it completely.
Yeah.
And you open up so many doors for yourself. Like in the introduction, you did mention that you are South Africa's first blind rapper.
Yeah.
You were a radio presenter.
Yeah.
You're a motivational speaker. You're also an advocate for the rights of persons with disability and an entrepreneur from Soweto. You're a local boy.
Absolutely.
And you have opened up a bunch of doors for yourself. You've partaken in so many other things. Like, for instance, you are part of the Green Pastures coaching company that basically assists trauma victims.
Yeah.
So you're taking your experience and you're applying it to helping others.
Absolutely. So let me start off with Green Pastures Coaching eventually as to how it works.
Yeah.
So Green Pastures Coaching was founded by Tebogo Poopedi, whereby she is a qualified trauma and suicidal practitioner. And as we partnered together, it was because of what we experienced in Bramfisheville.
Yeah.
There was a story of 3 young individuals who were actually, you can say, locked in their house for more than 5 years. I think it's 5+ years. It happened shortly after their parent passed on. So now they were fully dependent on their parents, right?
Yeah. So you told me this story, and I think it's important to highlight that they went through something similar as you. They're also blind.
Yeah. They're visually impaired as well.
Yeah.
They're visually impaired. And but it's painful to put yourself in that situation that you're locked in a room or in a house for 5 years plus. Their brother is partially sighted, so he's the one who does almost everything for them. But it takes away their dignity and their humanity because they're always locked inside.
Yeah.
And we need assistance with this process. With local government, with the city of, because in the city of Johannesburg or Gauteng province as a whole, to take action.
Yeah.
We need those kids out of that house. They cannot stay there.
Yeah.
They cannot stay plus 5 years. They can't stand. We refuse for them to stay plus for 10 years or 10 days from that other day. We also understand that they are living and dealing with a lot of trauma. They are locked in. They are caved in. And we're not blaming anybody else. There's no one to be blamed. Because their brother also is protecting them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The reason why they're actually locked inside the house is because it was the only way the mom could make sure that her kids were protected.
There was lack of information.
Yeah.
The lack of information. That's why there's at Green Pastures, the organization just focuses on that.
Yeah.
They share. They share a lot of information to persons with disabilities, and as channels, and how to deal with your trauma, and because they're also the people are always suicidal, especially us as persons with visual impairment or persons with disabilities. And there's a channel now. We have a channel now that's open. It's called Green Pastures Foundation.
Yeah.
Then so that we can show that it's actually possible.
Yeah.
The extra uniqueness of persons with disabilities.
Yeah.
It's shown through that channel. So these are the things that what the trauma that people go through, especially those with visual impairment, is a lot.
Yeah, you did mention that when we were having our earlier conversation, you said that the persons with disability are often being considered as people who are living in a vacuum, or people who belong to a charity or welfare, and that habitually people with disabilities are undervalued. Yeah. And I think with the efforts that you're doing, you're trying to change that narrative.
Absolutely. We're basically doing that as Green Pastures coaching. So every person that we need, we also need support, basically on that, so that let's say private companies or basic community members, contribute and just let's reach out, find out how much or what we need as what kind of assistance that we need, so that we can assist other persons with disabilities and take them out of the cages that they're living in. There are a lot of cases, and we cannot do it alone. We need assistance from companies. We need assistance from individuals who know and who are light-minded individuals who can contribute hugely in the betterment of persons with disabilities. And that's what we are doing on a daily. So we need support. We are not there. We just need support. You can visit our page, Green Pastures Foundation, and see what we do there. And see the amazing things that persons with disabilities can do, and reach out. There's emails there, there's a WhatsApp number there, and then let's take it. Let's make South Africa a greater place to do, especially for persons with disabilities.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I love your story, man.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate the fact that you are taking something that was what many people will see as a disappointment or a disadvantage. And you've basically taken it and you didn't make it about yourself. You're taking your story and you're sharing it with others. Like, for instance, you shared a picture with me, and I think that was super cool because you were rubbing shoulders with the president.
Absolutely.
And that's because you're part of a hip-hop group called 2Ys. So not only are you helping the community through the Green Pastures coaching organization, but you're also doing it through music.
Absolutely. So we, my partner and I, Buhle Mkize, we are a hip-hop duo. We also do Afro jazz. Afro duo fusion. We do the music like that, and that's how we also use our way and share the knowledge,
Yeah.
the possibilities through our music. So we were invited at a disability summit last year.
Yeah.
And that's where we were performing for the presidency,
Yeah.
And the amazing part,
Yeah.
we couldn't believe it. We were the only one. We were the only performers
Yeah.
of the day. We felt so special.
Yeah.
But it's not just because we're special. It's because we are serving a purpose. It is beyond the music. It is beyond what we think we are doing. It's personal. Our music tells a story. So the presidency also enjoyed our performance, and she was like, "No, man, this is something that we need to take up." And she's proposals, and we'll be there so that we can share the music, but beyond the music eventually, because we're also touching base on socio-economic things that we experience at the Kokasi.
Yeah.
Townships. There's a lot of pain to townships. And what we do, we're just telling a story, and we're serving a purpose. That's how we're doing it.
That's amazing, man. I can just imagine that's a lifetime opportunity to be able to not only perform for a special audience like that, but also be able to express your experience and show to someone like the president that, hey, listen, we
Absolutely.
are not limited by our disabilities.
No, we're not.
It's our superpower.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Always tell people my tagline is that if I can do it, you can do it as well, because you are great.
It's powerful, man.
Yeah.
You've got such an amazing story. And the thing is, you've taken something that many people would sit down and say, it's the end of my life. And you went and you ran with it, and you're just creating so many opportunities for other people and sharing your life with others. And I think, Tap, you're flying the flag for people with disabilities to show that that it is feasible and it is possible to do it. So thank you so much, Tap. It's really been a pleasure to talk to you. Just revealing a quick secret.
Right.
This is my very first 5 Unscripted doing it on 5 Feb.
Is it?
And it's been such a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Yes,
and I'm so glad that we could have this conversation about people with disabilities and visual impairment, and that something like that is not a limitation, but you can always take it forward.
Thank you so much, man. I'm quite honored. And high five for you.
Shut, man.
This is 5